evening, everybody. Welcome to the Village of Tuckahoe Zoning Board of Appeals for the month of February 2022. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag
for the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice. Thank you. Before we take the roll, I would just like to introduce our two new members. We have Heather Rinaldi, who volunteered and has now become an ad hoc member of this Zoning Board of Appeals. She has a great background in finance and project management. She's also a paralegal, so it should help. And also we have Lauren Porretta. She has a law degree and a background in risk management. So I think we have two fine individuals, and I thank them for their willingness to join this board and look forward to working with them in the future. Okay. Nancy, please take the roll.
Yes. Member Rinaldi.
Here.
Member Fiore.
Present.
Member Jackson.
Present.
Just
Member Peretta.
right there.
And Chairman Rinaldi.
I am present.
Then when you're not speaking, just
Just has to be in your general direction.
Okay, first order of
Hit
business
that button down there to turn it on and off. Yep.
will be the approval of the minutes from the December the 8th meeting. Anybody have any questions, issues, changes?
No.
If not, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the December the 8th, 2021 meeting. Do I have a second?
second.
I guess, Nancy, we should poll the members that were here. Oh,
I was there.
wow. We only have two of us.
Two.
We're going to have to do this next month.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot you weren't here. Very good. This evening's agenda, 69 Main Street, creation of additional medical offices, is adjourned, along with its partner, 22 Underhill Street. They're adjourned as well, and 377 Marbledale Road is adjourned, also leaving us with 22 Wallace Street, seeking an area variance for pavers and for a fence. Is the applicant here? Please step forward, state your name for the record.
Erica Gage.
The
The
address?
address is 22 Wallace Street.
Thank you. So, explain to us, please, what it is that you are doing or have done that you need an area variance for.
First, there's the fence. There was an existing chain link fence on the property line separating with my neighbor, and it was falling apart. So the neighbor and I agreed to renovate it, just change the fence and reinforce the wall that was actually crumbling, the retaining wall. So we did that. Unfortunately, I was not aware that I needed a permit to do so, since we were just changing what was existing.
Okay. And the neighbor has no problem with this?
No, the neighbor agreed. Unfortunately, he was unable to financially contribute, but he told me that, you know, if I could do it, to just move forward, which I did.
Excellent. And you also have a set of pavers on the ground where the hot tub sits?
Yes.
And you extended that a little bit too far to the property line?
Correct. I applied for the permit and did everything that I needed to do for the hot tub, and when he came to just give me the certificate of completion, he told me that the tub is sitting where it's supposed to be sitting, the 5 feet away from the property line. Unfortunately, the pavers, because it needs to be on a flat surface, he told me that it's supposed to be 4 feet away from my property line, and right now it sits on the property line, same as my neighbor's garage. And my neighbor did not have a problem with it. I had no idea that it would be a problem, since my neighbor's garage sits on the property line.
So it abuts against the property line, but there is a garage there?
That is
And then on
correct.
your side is your structure that houses the hot pool?
That's correct.
So it's basically just a narrow alley of about 4
Exactly.
feet that you paved?
Exactly, and if not, it would be uneven, because the entire yard is uneven, since the house sits at the steepest point of the street. The whole yard is also steep, and that is the flattest area of the backyard that you could actually put the hot tub.
And just to clarify, so, you know, we aren't setting precedent. We don't want huge fences in the village. However, in this case, just to clarify, your property sits about 3 feet or 2 feet below your neighbor's property, correct?
That is correct.
So although the fence is considered too high from the building department, in actuality, the fence itself is only about 2 feet, 3 feet tall, correct? It's just sitting on top of what is already a 2-foot retaining wall.
On my side, it's
Right.
3 feet below my neighbor's, and I was told that the fence that separates you and the side neighbor could be 4 feet, so it's a 4 feet vinyl fence that actually decreases when it gets to the front part.
Right.
Now I'm sitting 3 feet lower, and he has his driveway all alongside on the property line.
So the reason you're, essentially what I'm just saying is the reason you're in front of us is because although it's a 4-foot fence, it's on top of a 3-foot retaining wall. So from your perspective, since you built it, it's 7 feet. However, from your neighbor, who is the one impacted by this fence, from that neighbor's perspective, it's just a normal 4-foot fence, correct?
That is correct. So I'm really unsure, where do you really calculate this 4 feet? Like, is it because I'm the one that's filing for it, so you're calculating it from my 3 feet below, or?
I'm afraid so.
However, obviously, it's,
Yeah, I
it's
mean-
reasonable, it's just reasonability, and your neighbor was participatory in the process, was aware of it, and obviously from his perspective, as the one impacted, it shouldn't be a huge deal.
No, it shouldn't. I believe if your neighbor were to put that 4-foot fence up, he would not need a variance because it's only 4 feet. But since you put it up and it's on the property line and you're 3 feet below, technically you need a variance.
Understood, I get it.
Okay.
I've also included in some of the pictures, I walked around the neighborhood actually, and since we're on a hill, there's several side yards that you see. It's the same thing.
Right.
Like, it's a 4-foot fence, some of them are even higher, but their property are not at the same level.
Right.
Yeah, and I would also point out for precedent that we don't usually encourage people to build patios up to the property line without permission, because if your neighbor wasn't positive about your patio, they would really have the right to ask that not be there. So for people in the village who might be watching that, we don't encourage ground structures without approval, because it very likely could have to come out. However, in this case, obviously, it has not been an issue for the neighbor. And as we discussed in the work session, the hot tub itself, which is the only kind of, could pose possibly, in some weird circumstance, a danger to the footings of the neighbor's garage, is up to code. It is 5 feet from the property line, and it is going to be approved by the building department as in the appropriate position, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That was my primary concern.
Yes, they came out and he measured it already. The issue was the
patio.
the patio.
So just the patio.
Yes.
The hot tub itself is in a perfectly fine position.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
and I agree with those comments. And also, just to point out that what houses the hot tub, if that were a garage, you're talking about the space between two structures that's not visible really to anyone. So it's really not affecting anyone.
And surely I didn't think that, since my neighbor's
Right.
garage sits on the property
Property.
line, so
Right.
I didn't think pavers on the ground to it.
No, it's always an issue because these things are built so long ago, the zoning code wasn't even really around. So
Right.
when we do something new, though, obviously, it's.
I mean, it must be because also I included pictures all around in the neighborhood. They're all the same. The
Yeah.
neighbor's garage sits on their shared property line.
Right.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Plus you made everything safer on this,
and nicer
and
looking.
nicer looking.
Bring up the property
Yeah.
It's
value.
true. It's an excellent improvement.
Right.
I saw it. It's very nice, very nicely done.
But we would very much encourage people in the village to just call your friendly building department and check
Yeah.
Indeed.
prior to your project, because it makes things a lot easier.
I promoted that myself when my neighbors actually said, "This looks so nice. I want a fence." I said, "Go to the building department. Make sure."
Make sure.
No,
They're very nice, helpful people.
Do you have any questions of us?
I don't. Thank you for taking the time.
Any members have any questions for the
No,
applicant?
I'm good. I asked Mark.
Good?
Good.
Okay, so as I pointed out in the work session, we now need to formally open the public hearing on this and then leave it open until our next meeting, at which time we will be able to, close this up. But by law or by code, whatever the right word is, we're not allowed to do all of that in one meeting, just in case somebody's unable to make this meeting. They need another chance to voice their opinion, satisfaction, dissatisfaction, whatever. So it's more of a legality.
Okay,
But it's not going to hold you up in any ways.
thank you.
All right, you can have a seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing regarding the 22 Wallace Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone from the public who would like to comment regarding the area variance for 22 Wallace Street?
Mr. Chair, there's no one on Zoom.
No one on Zoom and no one
in the
here.
courtroom.
So I will make a motion to leave the public hearing open until next month. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that wraps it up.
Easy first meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.